Today we're talking about how to get listings at a very inexpensive way and tap into a source that not a lot of real estate agents are using. Wholesaling is a great source. In order to connect with wholesalers, you can find them online. You can find them by networking at real estate events. You can find wholesalers in a lot of different ways. But here's what you want to do. There's two types of wholesalers. One is newbie, and one is an experienced or seasoned wholesaler or investor. You want to start to connect with some newbie investors, and we're going to hit on the experienced ones in a minute, but connect with some newbie investors. And the reason you want to connect with newbie investors is a lot of them don't have a ton of experience, and they don't know how to get the properties under contract the right way in order to sell them. So a lot of these deals will fall through for these newbie investors just because they didn't know exactly what to do. Not their fault, but it happens. The other thing is a lot of them just simply don't fit the criteria. So newbie wholesalers may have a lot of people calling them regarding them wanting to sell their house, sellers wanting to sell their house, but they don't fit what the wholesaler is looking for. The wholesaler is looking for a distressed type owner, someone who needs some help, distressed type property. And a lot of times you're getting calls on the marketing that these wholesalers are doing from people that just want to not pay a commission to a real estate agent. And that's where we come right in and tell them why they should list with us. So, they're going to call. I get calls all the time that people who want to list, want to sell their property, and I talk to them on the phone, and I'm like, you want to list it, man, or woman. You don't want to just, unload it. Here's why. And then you go through the reasons why, and you give them different options, and they really understand after you educate them. So this is what you want to do with these newbie wholesalers. You want to form a relationship, and there can be a couple different ways that you guys can benefit from each other. The first way is, if this newbie wholesaler brings you a deal that they can't, do anything with, and you get a listing out of it, well, be creative in the way that you can compensate them and get them paid for their services. Won't get into the legalities of that. You figure that out, or that's another video. But, make up a relationship between you and the wholesaler. You can get them paid. The second part is, and this will tie into the seasoned investors that we'll talk about in a minute, is if that wholesaler ends up becoming a successful wholesaler or investor, now you have a great relationship for long term. The third reason is that wholesaler may be listing properties at some point. So they might become a flipper at some point where they're buying and rehabbing and selling. And then at that point, you want to get the listing side of that contract and sell it for them, and that can be beneficial on both sides. If you don't understand your value as a real estate agent yet and why flippers or people should be using you to list their properties, then that's a whole nother conversation. But, flippers need to move, and time is money, and a lot of times they don't realize that. But us as agents, if we're a good agent and we know what we're doing, we're going to sell those properties. So time is money for them, and it is going to benefit them tremendously to hire a real estate agent. So that's another reason. So let's get on to seasoned investors here. Seasoned investors are great to connect with as well. Now, seasoned investors are going to have a little bit more of a hard time committing to an agent. That's okay. They have a lot of poles in the pond fishing, so to say. They might know how to find properties themselves, right? If they're seasoned, they might have a lot of marketing going on. They might have a lot of agents that they connect with. So if you could find a experienced investor that is honest and you have a good relationship with and you have a good vibe, or done business with in the past, find those people, build those relationships. Because you can bring these investors deals, all right? They don't need to be top of mind, but you're going to occasionally run across deals as an agent that are investment specific. And when you have investors, that's when you make the agreement that when they do flip that property, you get a small commission when they buy, right? And they'll pay you for it. Any investor, right? Don't make the seller pay, make the investor pay if the seller won't. Most of the time, the investor has no problem paying a small commission for a finder's fee for a buyer agent that brought him or her a deal. They're thrilled, actually, especially in this market. So get your commission from the buyer if you're an investor, if you can't get it on the sell side, and then make a deal, because that commission is probably going to be pretty small, on the buy side, just because you're getting a discounted property. So hopefully you're getting it at a discounted rate. And it obviously varies by market, but at least here in Western Mass, you're going to be getting a small commission. So make sure you're getting that list side commission when they decide to sell. And that's a great way to strike up a relationship. Hey, I'll bring you a deal, pay me a small fee. Then when you flip it, I'm your person to list it. You can get that in a contract to make them commit. Or if there's a level of trust there and you have a relationship, then maybe you don't need to get in a contract. You're obviously going to get into an exclusive listing agreement at some point anyway. So wholesalers, start those relationships. Start networking with wholesalers. Newbies are great because they love to network. They're hungry. They're motivated. You can get good relationships out of new people because they're looking to, bond and get relationships with anybody as a new investor and get into the game. So maybe you can teach them some things about the real estate world. Maybe you can, split some marketing costs. The newbie wholesaler, I feel, is a great avenue for the real estate agent to get listings on things that don't work out for them. And a lot of times they are not working out for the new wholesaler because they just simply don't know how to negotiate the right way, don't know how to get the contract, the seller under contract the right way to make it beneficial for an investor to buy it. So therefore they won't make their money, or they have people calling them that are looking to cut out the real estate agent. That's a huge lead for you to call, mail, door knock, get business from. So wholesalers all the way. Doesn't have to be a ton of marketing, can be a lot of legwork and hard work on your end, just finding them, but it's just making phone calls and making connections. So get out there and do it. That's a great way to get new listings in this marketplace. And there is no shortage of wholesalers these days. Off-market properties, investors, everything is pretty prevalent. So, and that ain't going away. So make those connections, get those listings. Good luck. Go get them.